I've always believed that cats are mysterious creatures. They see things we don't, sense things beyond our understanding. But I never imagined that my own cat, Luna, would make me question my own reality. It started a few weeks ago. At first, it was subtle, something I barely noticed. Every night, right around midnight, Luna would leave her usual cozy spot on my bed, jump down, and sit in the far corner of the room. She'd stay there, completely still, staring at the wall. At first, I found it amusing. "What are you looking at, girl?" I asked her the first time I noticed. She didn't respond, didn't even blink, just kept staring. I waved my hand in front of her face, expecting her to react, but she didn't. It was as if she was in some sort of trance. Only when I physically picked her up and placed her back on the bed did she finally break her stare. But moments later, she jumped down again and returned to the exact same spot, resuming her silent vigil. It became a pattern. Every single night, right at midnight, she would go to that corner and sit there for hours. I tried to ignore it. Cats are weird, right? Maybe she saw a shadow or caught the scent of something I couldn't detect. But deep down, I felt uneasy. There was something off about the way she did it, how completely focused she was, how still she sat. Then one night, things escalated. I was lying in bed, drifting between sleep and wakefulness, when I heard a low, rumbling growl. It took me a second to realize it was coming from Luna. I sat up, my heart pounding. She was still in the corner, but this time she wasn't just staring. Her entire body was tense, her fur standing on end. Her tail was puffed up, twitching erratically. And then she let out a sharp, hissing sound. Her ears flattened against her skull. I flicked on the bedside lamp, my pulse racing. "What is it, Luna?" I whispered. She didn't turn toward me. She didn't even flinch at my voice. Her entire focus was locked on that empty wall. I swallowed hard and slowly got out of bed, stepping toward her. My feet felt cold against the wooden floor. Was there something there? A bug? A mouse? I leaned in closer, scanning the wall, the floor, the baseboard. Nothing. And yet, the air in the room felt different. I don't know how to explain it, but suddenly, I was aware of something I couldn't see. It was the same feeling you get when you know someone is watching you, even though there's no one there. The tiny hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Luna let out another growl, deeper this time. I reached out and placed my hand on her back. She flinched, but didn't look away. Her muscles were rigid under my fingers. Then, as suddenly as it had started, she stopped. She blinked a few times, shook herself, and casually walked back to my bed, curling up as if nothing had happened. I stood there for a long time, staring at the corner. There was nothing there. But why did I feel so sure that there was? That night, I struggled to sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined something standing in that corner, something watching me. And deep down, I had the awful creeping sensation that whatever it was getting closer. The next few nights, I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head. Maybe Luna was just acting out some weird cat instinct. Maybe I was overthinking things. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. And then, things got worse. It was around 2 a.m. when I woke up to the feeling of something heavy pressing down on my chest. My breath hitched, and for a moment, I was completely paralyzed. My eyes darted around the dark room, searching for what was causing this sensation. Luna wasn't on the bed. That was strange in itself. She always slept beside me. I turned my head toward the corner, and there she was, sitting in the same spot as always. But this time, she wasn't just staring. She was hissing, low, prolonged. Her fur stood on end, her body tense like she was ready to attack. I followed her gaze, and my stomach turned to ice. A shadow. It stretched across the wall, long distorted. It flickered, as if something was moving within it, though there was nothing there to cast it. The room was still, yet the shadow shifted. My body finally broke free from its frozen state, and I lunged for the bedside lamp, switching it on. The shadow was gone. Luna, however, remained tense, still watching that corner as if something was still there. I ran a hand over my face, trying to shake off the sheer terror that had wrapped itself around me. Maybe it had been sleep paralysis. Maybe my mind had been playing tricks on me. But then, my eyes landed on my closet door. It was open, just slightly. I was certain, absolutely certain, that I had closed it before bed. I swallowed, trying to steady my breathing. The room was silent except for the faint ticking of my bedside clock. I reached for my phone, hoping the glow of a screen would comfort me. But as soon as I picked it up, I felt my stomach drop. The screen was on, and there was a message. I hadn't heard any notification sound. My phone was on silent. But there it was, one unread message from an unknown number. It's watching. My fingers trembled as I locked the phone and set it down, my heartbeat thudding in my ears. Luna finally moved, jumping back onto the bed, pressing herself against me. Her body was still stiff, but she had stopped hissing. I hesitated, then slowly turned my gaze back to the corner. Nothing. But I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Because I knew, somehow, I just knew, that I wasn't alone in that room. And whatever was watching me, it was getting closer. The next day, I tried to push the night's events out of my mind. Maybe I had been dreaming. Maybe my exhaustion was messing with me. But as night fell, an uneasy feeling settled deep in my chest. I left the hallway light on before going to bed, just a small act of reassurance. Luna curled up beside me, but she wasn't her usual relaxed self. Her ears twitched at every small noise, her body tense, her eyes flicking toward the closet door every few minutes. It was like she was waiting for something. I told myself I was being ridiculous. I checked the closet, nothing there. I checked my phone, no more messages. Just an overactive imagination making things worse than they were. At least, that's what I wanted to believe. Sometime after midnight, I drifted into an uneasy sleep. Then, the whispering started. At first, I thought it was the wind. A soft, distant sound, barely audible. But as I slowly woke, I realized something horrifying. The whispering was inside my room. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. My body remained frozen beneath the covers, my pulse hammering in my ears. The voices were low, hushed, but not in a language I recognized. It was wrong, like someone speaking just beneath the threshold of understanding, words forming and unraveling at the same time. Then, a creak. The closet door. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't want to look. I couldn't. Luna moved before I could react. She sprang from the bed, hissing and clawing at the dark. The whispering stopped immediately. The room fell into an eerie, suffocating silence. I finally forced myself to sit up and reach for the bedside lamp. Light flooded the room. The closet door was open, wide open. My heart pounded as I slowly got to my feet, my hands shaking. I moved toward the closet, every muscle in my body screaming at me to run instead. Nothing inside, just my clothes, my shoes, everything exactly where it should be. Except, as I reached for the door handle to shut it, my eyes landed on something near the bottom. A shoe print. Not mine. Smaller. Bare. As if someone had been standing inside my closet, watching. I slammed the door shut and grabbed my phone, my hands trembling so badly I nearly dropped it. My thumb hovered over the screen. I didn't know who I was expecting to message. Who would even believe me? And then, before I could do anything, a notification popped up. Another message. Let me in. I stared at the message, my mind refusing to process it. Let me in. No number. No contact name. Just those 3 words glowing on my screen like a silent demand. Luna growled low beside me, her body tense, fur bristling. She was staring at the closet door, now shut, but I knew better than to feel safe. My instinct screamed at me to run, to get out of the apartment, but something stronger, some mix of fear and denial, kept me rooted to the spot. I needed proof. Evidence that I wasn't losing my mind. With shaking hands, I opened my phone's camera and switched to video mode. I hit record, then turned back toward the closet. If something's there, if something's watching me, I'll see it later, I told myself. The screen showed nothing unusual. Just my closet, my bed, the dim glow of the hallway light seeping in. But then, tap, tap, tap. My blood turned ice. It came from the other side of the closet door. I almost dropped my phone. My breath caught in my throat as the tapping came again, soft but deliberate, like someone testing the barrier between us. My hands trembled as I aimed my camera directly at the closet door. "Who's there?" I whispered. Silence. I knew I needed to open it. I knew that if I didn't, I'd never sleep in this room again. Summoning every ounce of courage, I stepped forward and reached for the handle. The moment my fingers touched it, BZZD. My phone vibrated violently in my hand. Another message. I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the notification. And then, as if sensing my hesitation, the door rattled, like something inside was trying to get out. My breath hitched. I tore my gaze away from the closet and looked down at my phone. The message read, "Do not open the door." The air left my lungs. Someone or something was warning me. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my ears. I wanted to listen. I should have listened. But then I made the worst mistake of my life. I opened the door, and what I saw inside was not empty. The closet door swung open. For a fraction of a second, I thought, maybe it really is empty. But then my phone's screen flickered, and that's when I saw it. A shape, a shadow, standing there, its form blending with the darkness, just barely visible in the dim light. It wasn't tall. It wasn't human. It twitched. Luna let out a deep, guttural snarl, the kind I'd never heard from her before. She lunged forward, barking like she was ready to tear whatever it was apart. And then, the closet slammed shut on its own. The force was so strong that the entire doorframe shook. Luna kept barking, her teeth bared, but she backed away, her tail low, body stiff. My phone vibrated violently in my hand. Another message. Run. That was it. Just one word. And this time, I listened. I grabbed my keys, yanked open the front door, and ran. I didn't stop, not even when Luna whined in protest. Not even when I heard my closet door creak open again, behind me. I drove to my sister's house that night, barely able to breathe. I told her everything. She thought I was sleep-deprived, maybe hallucinating. But I know what I saw. I didn't go back home for days. When I finally worked up the nerve to return, I brought friends. Everything looked normal. My bed was untouched. The closet door was wide open. But my phone held one final message. No number. No name. Just one last chilling line. You let it out. I moved out the next week. And to this day, I still don't know if it ever left.